Hello everyone, this is Lauren Etheridge again. I am doing my presentation on Web 3.0 and Connectivism today. I plan to talk about Web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0 and explain a little bit of what Connectivism is and how Web 3.0 and Connectivism could work together and give you a few resources. So Web 1.0 was open to the public in 1991, and connections were very slow. You had to be very patient if you wanted to get to the information you needed. It was essentially read-only, like basically a big digital library. Content creation required coding skills, so only certain people who had the skills to do it or the interest to learn to do it were actually creating and uploading information to the internet. For the most part, it was just search and find what you wanted to know. But within a decade, things started changing and improving very rapidly. Web 2.0 was when our social media started coming out. There's higher emphasis on networking and marketing. Content creation becomes much easier with self-publishing platforms like WordPress, Bluehost, Wix, and many more. Internet speeds and accessibility are improved greatly. The number of users skyrockets. Internet commerce grows exponentially. And income are tech giants like Google and Amazon and Facebook, which is now Meta. And we start seeing all of this information, all of this data being collected by our tech giants and used to market directly to the people using their services. And as advertising becomes more targeted, there's algorithms based on your information. They're collecting and leveraging your data, sometimes with your permission, sometimes without. Basically, if you want to use their services and sites, you're giving over some part of your data, your personal information to them, and then it's being used to sell you products. And so that is where Web 3.0 comes in. And some of the technology is still kind of being developed, but a lot of this is out in Web 2.0. It's just kind of being put together in a different manner now. The technology is going to include AI, blockchain, machine learning, virtual reality, all of these things to try to address some of the issues we're seeing with Web 2.0. So our tech giants have all of this data and information stored that they can use to benefit advertisers and basically profit off of the things they know about us. So Web 3.0 is aiming to decentralize data, not have all of the data controlled by just a few of our tech giants, and give more personal control to the users. They're trying to remove the middleman for content creators. So just like musicians right now, if you want to put your music on Apple Music, Apple is benefiting from what you've created because they're providing the platform for the users to access your music. Web 3.0 is attempting to kind of cut out the middle people to have artists and creators be the ones who are benefiting from their creations. There is an emphasis on transparency, but this is where I get a little bit confused on how all of this is really going to work, because there is an emphasis on transparency, but there's also a emphasis on personal data control and privacy. And I'm not sure that they have really worked out how all of these are going to work together. They're also promoting that it's going to be a tailored experience for you. AI is going to tailor things that you want to see based on your interests and things, which sounds a lot like what's going on now with our algorithms on Facebook. And so I feel like the concept is very intriguing of Web 3.0, but I'm not sure that all of the details have really been worked out yet. And it'll be interesting to see how they address the conflict in some of these interests as well. And this brings us to connectivism. So connectivist learning, the key concept is that learning is a process of building actionable networks of information, no longer just biological networks and conceptual networks, but social networks of people and databases that can be used to access information that is needed. It's also very intriguing because it's very learner centered. Um, it's collaborative, it allows for diversity, all things that we want to see in education. Um, some of the possible problems with it is the depth of learning. It can also, it seems like it could cause some reliance on technology for information instead of retaining some things long term. Um, the development of critical thinking. In some ways, it promotes it, but in some ways, it could also potentially stunt development, in my opinion. If you're always working in a group, sometimes you can become reliant on others' opinions instead of coming up with your own ideas. So there's the potential for that, but then at the same time, it's also promoting all of this collaboration that is hopefully going to inspire more creation. So there are some pros and cons, kind of a fine line to walk there. Um, for combining Web3 and connectivism, so we already have a lot of the connectivist ideas going on right now with Web 2.0, with all of the social media and connections across the world. The idea of the metaverse and the virtual teaching spaces, all of those are going on now. Web 3.0 could potentially just amplify this even more. Um, and it's hopefully going to help control the flow of information, or actually take some of the restrictions off of the flow of information, where it's not so hard to find things that you want to see because the algorithm's constantly giving you things they think you want to see. Um, Web 3.0 and Connectivism also value expert individuals, which is awesome. Thinking about content creators, but also experts in their field. You can learn directly from them, even though they're halfway across the world. Um, it highlights personal decision making, so you being in control of what you want to learn, what you want to share with the world, and prioritizes continual learning. Um, so I have this quote from Dr. George Simons from the article that we read this week that I thought really just kind of put connectivism's focus in a nutshell. The pipe is more important than the content within the pipe. As knowledge continues to grow and evolve, access to what is needed is more important than what the learner currently possesses. I'm stumbling over this. Um, and that kind of is what I feel like Web 3.0 is trying to do as well. It's trying to give us a pipeline that is less restricted, where we can access the information without constantly being marketed something in return. Um, and I believe that 3.0 and connectivism are really great for continued learning. But thinking about it in my field of work, I'm working with elementary students, I'm coaching high school students. Um, I think that this is a little bit high for um, core instruction. I think that this is great for postgraduate and continued learning. Michael Cohen, in one of the videos that we talked about or watched, talked about evergreen skills like communication still needing to be taught in order to fully take advantage of the interconnectedness of the web. And I feel like that's kind of where I am with students that I'm working with. I'm still trying to teach the skills that they need to be able to access all of this, which I think is going to be a big focus in education moving forward, is how do you um, access all the information? What do you do with it? How do you interact with the people that you're coming in contact with online who may be from different cultures than you, have different ideas? So that value of valuing the connection, but also making sure that you are prepared to access all of the information that's going on. So that's kind of where I think Web 3.0 and connectivism are great for that continued learning. But I do feel like there will always be that need for a base foundational knowledge in order to utilize the things that we have access to now, and the more technology and things we have access to in the future. And here are some of the resources we used this week and that I have referenced in my presentation. So I hope that this kind of helps give an overview of Web 3.0 and connectivism. And I hope y'all have a good day.